Welcome back. My name is Christina, and today we are going to talk about disciplining your child, correcting your child when they are behaving in a manner that needs to be corrected. It's really important that I remind you of something I say in almost all of my videos, and that is that your feelings and your child's feelings, the feelings and emotions of all human beings, are tools for direction, protection, and connection. It is the primary form of communication that every human being is born with because they are tools for direction, protection, and connection. They are a necessary part of the human experience. So when your children are first born, when you've got a newborn, that is their only way of communicating. They communicate by crying out based on a feeling or an emotional state that they are experiencing on the inside. Maybe there's a signal that's saying they're hungry, they've got some pain or discomfort in their ear, they are sleepy, they've got a dirty diaper, they want some attention. Whatever it is, there's an experience happening on the inside of them that leads them to cry out for assistance, for a grown-up, preferably a parent, a caregiver, to come and be curious enough to figure out what need is this child crying out to have met, and to meet it in a healthy and safe way for this child. As children get older, they have had quite a lot of experience watching older siblings, older children, adults, and other people that are in their lives communicate verbally with words. And at a certain stage, they learn to say their first words, say fragmented sentences. Then they start saying whole sentences. And then they get better and better as time goes on and they keep practicing. And it's really important that you as a parent also understand that emotional language is also a language, just like Spanish or English or French. The same way you are teaching your child to communicate verbally based on the primary language of you and everybody in your home, you are either intentionally or unintentionally teaching your child emotional language based on the way you and other people in your home do or do not express feelings and emotions. So as your child is getting older, they are beginning to misbehave for one reason or another. Kind of like they did in infancy. They weren't misbehaving, but they were crying out to get their needs met because they couldn't communicate verbally and they couldn't do anything else. So all they could do was cry. But as they get older, now they're able to walk, they're able to talk verbally, and they're able to, they've got a bit of mental maturity that allows them to behave in some ways that need to be corrected, that need to be rerouted. And when this happens, as a parent, it's important that you understand that feelings and emotions are still underneath the surface. They are still the driving force that is leading your child to say things that may be inappropriate, to do things that are inappropriate. And they need you as a parent to be supportive, loving, and encouraging, to sit down with them and communicate verbally to help them understand what it is that they said or did, why they said it or did it, and how to model, how to display better behavior the next time they have that signal, that feeling, that emotion that is stirred up on the inside of them. Many parents, myself included, believe that if a child is misbehaving in any capacity, spank them. And I'm telling you this as a woman that has raised a child from birth into adulthood, and I have spanked my child. But as a woman that has raised a child from birth into adulthood, gone to therapy, became more self-aware and a lot more self-reflective, if I had it to do all over again, I would never spank my child. If I had another child right now, I'd never spank my child because I know it is ineffective. The goal when correcting your child is to help them understand what they did, why it was inappropriate, why they did it, and how to correct it in the future when that emotional state is stirred up on the inside of them again, because it will happen again. Spanking your child does not help them understand what they did, why they did it, and it absolutely does not give them better data to make better choices in the future. Yes, spanking your child may prevent them from modeling, from doing this behavior again in the future, but it's not going to stop them from behaving poorly the next time that emotional state is stirred up on the inside of them. They need data. They need a responsible, emotionally mature adult to help them process and understand what's happening on the inside of them. So I want to give you a scenario here to think about. Have you ever visited another country where the primary language was not whatever your primary language is? So my primary language is English. Let's say I go to Spain or Japan. Let's say Japan. If I go to Japan, I don't speak Japanese. I couldn't tell you one word in Japanese. But if I go to Japan and I don't have any electronic devices to support me, I don't have a book to help me understand any of the words, what would I do and what would you do to communicate in this environment to get your needs met? I believe you as well, would start acting out, not necessarily acting out poorly, but I would start behaving in a manner to help the other person understand what it is that I want or need. If I'm hungry, I'm going to start, get a bowl, or not get a bowl, but acting like I'm hungry. Eat, or if I'm thirsty, drink, or if I'm tired, might go sleep. But I'm going to model things behavior-wise to help the other person understand what my needs are. Children don't have the ability to communicate what their needs are unless you as a parent help them understand what's happening on the inside of them, to help them process the information and understand what it's communicating to them, what parts are true, what parts are false, and how they can make better decisions as they're going forward. So the same way, if you were in a foreign country where you didn't speak their primary language, you would behave in a manner to help them understand what it is that you want or need. Your child is doing a similar thing. They just don't know the appropriate behaviors to express what it is that they want or need, because it's never been modeled to them. They don't understand it. All they know is they've got big feelings and emotions happening on the inside. They're likely extremely uncomfortable, and they're trying to express it in a way that gets it to go away or gets your attention or makes them feel seen, heard, and valued in some capacity. It is so important that you give real thought and consideration to what's underneath the surface when your child is misbehaving, because there are always emotional states that are driving behavior, and they need you as a parent to be emotionally mature enough to help them process and understand so that they can become more self-aware and self-reflective. Being self-aware and self-reflective is critical to helping a child improve or correct their behavior. It's really important, because when you're not self-aware, there's a tendency for human beings, myself included, to behave in ways that sound or seem logical in our minds, but to everybody on the outside, they're like, man, I can't believe she said that. I can't believe she did that. but on the inside, it seems appropriate or normal or maybe healthy to you because you think that it's getting you the attention that you want or need. But to somebody that is mentally and emotionally mature, is communicating something completely different. If you really want to correct your child's behavior, hitting them with a belt or any other object is not going to help them become more self-aware, meaning they are like really aware of what's happening on the inside of them. And it's not going to help them become more self-reflective, where they start thinking about what's happening on the inside of them and why they said or did whatever it is they said or did that needs to be corrected. If you really want your child to receive correction that is going to help them behave better in the future, it is necessary that they develop skills to become more self-aware and self-reflective. And those skills happen only with verbal communication. Ignoring your child won't do it. Hitting them won't do it. Punishing them won't do it. Sending them to their room's not going to do it. Like if your child is failing math because they haven't learned their times tables, and you're at the house and you're going over the times tables with them, and they're like messing them up, and you're like, I can't understand how you're not getting this. Like 1 times anything is always whatever the other number is. If it's 1 times 3, it's 3. If it's 1 times 20, it's 20. But you keep saying it, and they're not getting it. They're guessing all the wrong answers. So if you get pissed off, you start yelling, and you send them to their room, do you think they're going to go in their room and magically like figure out how to do their times tables? They're not. They just know that my mom or my dad got really upset with me. They started screaming and yelling at me, which no human being likes, adult or child. We all kind of shut down and become defensive and reactive if somebody starts screaming and yelling at us because it feels threatening. It feels unsafe. So when you scream and yell at your child and send them to their room for not doing something that they should know how to do, I guarantee you they are not in that room like in their math book trying to figure out, oh my gosh, how do I do these times tables? How do I get it right? That's not what they're doing. They're in their head trying to figure out how can they perform better so that they don't get rejected by their parent. So when your child behaves in a manner that needs to be corrected, and you instead choose to scream and yell, to hit them with a belt, to send them to their room, to take, not gonna say that one, but do things that don't help them learn about them, what you are essentially doing is preventing them from developing healthy character. And as a parent, when you don't help your child build healthy character, your child will become a character. Meaning, if you're not instilling the character of love in your child, you are essentially, whether you verbally say it or not, conditioning your child to become a character that becomes like a people pleaser. A character that lacks boundaries, a character that doesn't know how to speak up for themselves, that doesn't know how to ask for help when they need it, a character that becomes sometimes narcissistic, that becomes the scapegoat, that becomes the enabler in the family. You are creating a character, somebody that is performative, because you're not helping them develop character that is going to help them develop into a mentally and emotionally mature adult that is self-aware and self-reflective, and they are able to give real thought and consideration to what it is they said or did, why they said it or did it, and make adjustments so that they don't get the same undesirable results in the future. They need somebody to help them with critical thinking skills. That's not something that children are born with. Children are born, again, with the primary form of communication. It's feelings and emotions. children aren't born with a spirit of fear, but if they hear a loud noise, they get scared. If they see something that is violent, they probably get scared. But they're not necessarily born with a spirit of fear per se. So they've got all these big feelings and emotions happening on the inside of them. And at birth, they don't have the skills to communicate. As they get older, they still have these big feelings and emotions, and now they're learning how to communicate verbally. This is where you are to merge feelings and emotions with verbal communication, helping your child develop whatever the primary form of language is in your house, English, French, Spanish, and help them develop the emotional language necessary to express and articulate themselves. So instead of going to school and seeing some other kid that's got on a fresh outfit, brand new shoes, a nice haircut, and they get jealous and then they start bullying and picking on this other kid, they're able to acknowledge that I'm feeling something on the inside and I don't like the way I feel. I kind of feel jealous because they've got something that I don't get. And they're able to become self-reflective and self-aware, meaning they're able to tap into what's happening on the inside of them, be honest about what's happening, be honest about why it's happening, and choose a behavior that is healthy. However, when you spank your child or send your child up to their room or scream and yell at them and cuss them out, that doesn't teach them anything. It makes your child fearful, and it teaches them to become a character because you're not helping them build character, like the character of love. Love has characteristics like patience, kindness, compassion, empathy, endurance, truth, honor, forgiveness, selflessness. These are characteristics of love. And they are so important. It's important that when your child misbehaves, you're able to help them understand even like how their behavior is impacting others. Because so many adults and children are behaving in ways that get them attention because they've got this chaos happening on the inside, and they are never giving any real thought or consideration to the impact that it's having on other people, because all they can think is that, man, if I do this, people are going to laugh and they're going to think I'm cool. And if I do that, then I'll fit in with the crowd. And if I do this, I'll get rewarded in some other type of way. But they are not giving real thought and consideration to the impact that their behavior is having on somebody else when they are bullying, when they are stealing, when they are doing things that are inappropriate to other people. And it is so important as a parent that you help your child understand how to become self-reflective and self-aware. That's what correction is all about. Correction is all about helping your child develop character so they don't become a character that is performative in this world, trying to get their emotional needs met without any self-awareness or self-reflective skills. So I'm going to end this video here. I really hope that you understood what I said in this video. A high-level overview is that all feelings and emotions are healthy. They're okay. They are tools for direction, protection, and connection. They are a necessary part of the human experience, and your child needs you to communicate verbally with your mouth to help them understand how to become self-reflective and self-aware so that they can do some critical thinking about what it is they're doing, why they're doing it, and become more considerate of how their behavior is going to impact themselves and others. So I hope that you will start having healthier conversations with your child when correction is necessary, and move away from hitting your child or screaming and yelling at your child or sending them off to their room because they didn't behave in the way that you thought they should. So I'll see you in the next video.